send me an email is so I can add you to the circle, and then you can see this video. So this is being taped. Well, not taped, but it's being videoed so that people can watch it. And why do we do that?
Just in case people don't understand it or
Okay.
go back.
Why would you do that?
We probably missed this step, I guess.
Okay. So what was one of the fundamental things we talked about last week? Challenges to people.
Can I do my paper if I have it?
Huh?
Can I have
Of course, yeah, absolutely. So here's the fundamental thing. The fundamental question is, what is the difference between good students and not good students?
What's the difference?
Yeah, the fundamental difference. The basic difference between good students and not good students. Huh?
The way they pay attention when they're being instructed to do something.
Okay, so you're on the right track. It's a little bit more simple than that. Do you remember, Christiana? Huh? Do you remember from last week?
We did the secret statistics.
Okay, it's one of those things.
Remember stuff and
Right.
tell your stuff.
Okay.
She wrote it down?
Of course, you need to write it down. So do you have a pen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The fundamental difference between good students and not good students is good students remember more stuff. That's it. Why do they remember more?
They paid attention more.
Okay, what else?
They're focused.
Okay, what else?
They ask questions and
Oh.
are attentive to learning.
Okay, and what else?
They don't tell their stuff negatively.
Okay, what else? They study.
That's the key.
Okay, when you study, you're going back and you're remembering stuff.
Right.
Okay, you look at it from a little different way, right? So if you have 10 math problems that are sort of the same, but they have different numbers, studying is you do those problems and what happens? You remember how to do it, okay? So the fundamental difference between good students and not good students is they just remember more. And the main reason they remember more isn't because they're smarter. They're smarter because they remember more. They don't start out smarter. What they do is they just study more and they remember. And one of the things to not do is to what?
Yourself negatively.
Yeah, if you say to yourself, I can never learn this, what do you think will happen?
You will never learn it
Why?
because you set it in your mind, and whatever you say, it becomes reality.
Perfect, okay? Almost perfect. Okay? Because if you set in your mind that you're going to be able to walk through the wall, will you be able to do that?
If there's
No.
like a
No, you won't be able to walk
there's
through
a
the wall.
hole in the wall.
So the thing would be, if you set in your mind, you're going to be able to do it as long as it doesn't violate the laws of physics.
Right.
Okay? But if you set something in your mind, that's what's going to happen, because what does your mind do?
They receive what you say.
It does what you tell it to do.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you say, I can do this, I can learn this, your brain will do it if you study enough. Okay? You can't read a book one time through and memorize the whole thing. Our brains are not designed to do that. They can't physically do that. Nobody can do that. Even the people who win these memory contests can't take a book, read the book, and remember every single word in the book. They can't do that. Our brains are not designed to do that. But our brains are designed to do what we tell them to do. So if we say we can't do this, it's too hard, it's not worth it, then we're just giving ourselves permission to fail. Now, do you think that approach, good student, not good student, applies to work?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if I said, what's the difference between good employees and not good employees, what would you say?
Good employees, they don't need nobody to tell them what to do. They already know what to do and how to do it.
Okay, but what if you don't know when you start?
Then you catch on quick.
Because you do what? okay? Because you end up doing what?
You end up studying what
You end up remembering,
remembering, right.
okay?
Right.
Remembering. It comes down to that. Things in life come down to that. Whoever remembers more has a big advantage over people who remember less, if everything else is equal, okay? So we don't really learn that in school, and I know that for a couple reasons. One is because I teach at a school, and what's the school I teach at? It's right here. Why are you going like this?
She's shy.
Okay, so don't give yourself permission to be shy. Nothing bad will happen in here, I promise. Okay, so I teach at Larson Training Centers. And what is Larson Training Centers? Okay, so here's the thing. They were here last week and they can't remember.
I was there, I don't remember.
Okay, we'll see. If you're here next week, we'll see. So Larson Training Centers is a post-secondary school. What's that? What's post-secondary?
Isn't that like after high school?
Exactly. After high school. Post-secondary is exactly after high school. So Larson Training Centers is a licensed post-secondary school. Why is Larson unique? Okay. Shamara, why is Larson unique? Wrong answer. Don't ever start an answer off with Okay, because what you're saying already is I don't know. I'm going to guess. I'm going to try to figure it out. It's a habit that we all do. So now, Larson Training Centers is unique for a couple reasons. One is our curriculum, the stuff we teach. And what we teach people at Larson is how to get jobs in companies, in positions in companies that every company has. So do you remember the thing we put on there, the 4 parts of a business?
Yes.
Okay, what are they? So you two guys put this in your book for notes. All businesses have 4 parts. There's 4 parts of every business.
No, I didn't do that one.
Admin. Okay. Finance, good. Okay. Operations. Sales, close, and marketing. Okay. Every business is made up of these 4 departments. Every business. So, Danny, name a business.
Apple.
Okay. So, what is the operations part of Apple?
Technology.
Okay, what does that mean? What do they do? What do they do?
They create and innovate new products.
Like what?
Like MacBook, iPhone,
Okay,
iPod.
computer type stuff,
Yeah.
right? Okay, that's their operations. That's what they do.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I said Chuck E. Cheese, what do? What is their operations?
Post-birthday parties? Yes.
Okay. So kind of restaurant, family entertainment,
Right.
right? That's what they do. If I say Joe's Carpet Cleaning Company, yeah, that's their operations.
Right.
All businesses have these 4 parts. So operations is what they do. What is the sales and marketing part of Joe's Carpet Cleaning business?
They probably will advertise and have lower prices in their windows.
Okay. They advertise, and then they get people to answer the phone and say, what do you want your carpet cleaned? Or they have people call people say, hey, you need your carpet cleaned. So that's the sales and marketing. That's pretty easy, right? At Chuck E. Cheese, what are the sales and marketing? Who are the salespeople at Chuck E. Cheese?
Kids?
Huh?
Isn't it the kids?
Which kids?
Like the kids that usually would ask your parents to go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Well, not really, because they don't work for Chuck E. Cheese.
Right. I think the mouse is the sales.
He goes around asking people, do you want to come here?
Commercials?
It's the people,
Right.
well, that's the marketing part.
Oh, the sales are the employees that work for them.
Exactly. The
Right.
people, when you
Right.
walk up to the counter and say, can I have a pizza?
Yeah, I know that.
Or you call up, okay? So all businesses have operations, sales, marketing, admin. What's the administration part?
Administration, that means like the way that they got everything set together. Right.
Okay, so administrative people are the people who enable these people to do their job. So administration in a pizza company are the people who make sure there's a building to make the pizzas in, they pay the rent, pay the insurance, business licenses, pay the payroll, they buy the flour, buy all the goods, because these people make the pizzas. Administrative people are the people who give them the stuff so that they can make it. So they're not out in the parking lot or sitting around at a bar talking about having a pizza party. And then finance is what?
Money,
Okay, right. Finance is money.
budget.
It's getting the money to do your business. It's not accounting. It's completely different than accounting. Okay, so at Larson, we don't do this. We don't teach finance. My undergraduate degree was in finance, and finance starts with the question, what is money? That's what finance starts with. What is money? We don't do that at Larson. We don't do operations at Larson. We don't tell people how to work in a pizza parlor or a Apple computer or carpet cleaning business. We don't teach those skills. We teach the skills for admin and sales and marketing. So we teach administration. We teach sales, we teach marketing, we teach customer service.
Oh, so basically, you guys have your own four things, right?
Huh?
You guys have your own four sides of business, right? Like different. Like, because weren't you saying that the operations, sales, marketing, finance, those were like business?
Every business is made up of these four parts.
Exactly, that's what I meant.
Okay. So you could look at any business, and a thing to do to help you remember is when you leave here and you're driving around down the street, say, okay, oh, that business there, what's their operations? Okay, they make whatever. What's their administration? That's getting them the things so they can do this.
Right.
What's the finance? That's the money to be able to do that business. That's not sales or marketing. What's this, what's that? So at Larson, we teach people administration. So that means you work in an office in a company.
Okay.
You supply people with the things that they need to run the business. You could be a receptionist at a company. You could be a file clerk.
So number one is accounting?
No, number one is administration.
Okay. This is for Larson, right?
Yeah. Number two is accounting. So there's a lot of things in accounting that are not being the accountant. For example, inventory, or being a payroll clerk, or an accounts receivable clerk, or an accounts payable clerk, doing audits, checking up on things. That's part of accounting. Number three is sales and marketing. And number four is customer service. So can you think of any business that doesn't do customer service?
No.
Right,
No.
they all do. So-
You need customer service, that's key in order to be a good employee.
Exactly, to be, well, you're right, generally speaking. You don't really have to have good customer service to be a Nazi stormtrooper. Okay? They don't care about customer service.
Right.
Okay? But that's probably why they're not around anymore, because they didn't care about customer service.
Exactly.
So at Larson, these are the things that we teach all of our students. And these are the things that every business knows. That's what we teach. Part of knowing these things, though, is you have to have certain hard skills. So one hard skill is typing. You have to be able to type 35 words per minute at a minimum to get a job. So if you don't type 35 words per minute, you need to start practicing to get 35 words per minute. Because you really, to make the most amount of money, these are the two jobs that you want. The two departments that you want. Well, this is number one. So when you see these guys making, $500 million a year, they're finance guys or they're entertainers. Okay, but we're not talking about that kind of thing. We're talking about regular business. And anybody can. These people make the obscene amounts of money. That it's so much they should go to jail. Okay, but in a regular business, these people make the most money. These people usually don't make a lot of money in the business. The guys that make the pizzas don't usually make a lot of money. Okay, so at Larson, you come away with skills so that you can get a job at any company. All right, so we teach, but one of the things you have to know is typing. Another thing you have to know is office, in quotes. And what do I say? What do you think I mean when I say office?
Desk
No, not a desk job. Microsoft Office.
Ooh.
Okay, but I really don't mean Microsoft Office because that's old school. That's the past. I mean Google.
Right.
Okay, so what is the Google version of Word? What? Let me restate that question. What is the Google version of Word?
Google Plus?
No, that's more like Facebook.
Oh.
Okay, the Google version of Word is called Docs.
Docs. Oh my God.
Okay,
Like Dropbox.
what's the Google version of Excel? Okay. So Danny is good at going to figure out problems. So if you don't know something, see what he's doing is trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Find it right now.
I understand. I don't know. Okay. So good employees, either they know something or they know what? How to figure it out, how to find the answer.
Right.
Do you think any supervisor wants to hear somebody say, oh, I don't know?
No.
Right. Okay, so you want to develop habits of either knowing because you remember or knowing because you remembered how to find out.
What was the question again?
What is the Google version
Of Excel,
of
right?
Excel?
Google Sheets.
Correct. Sheets. Okay, what's the Google version of PowerPoint?
Google Slides.
Slides. Okay. Now, see, these guys think they're going to trick me. They think they're one step ahead. What is the Microsoft version of Forms? Microsoft version.
Of forms?
InfoPath.
No.
Oh, I mean, smartphones. 36.
Smartphones?
What?
Smartphones?
Okay.
InfoPad or something like that?
It's called Access. Microsoft Access.
Looking at it.
Huh? You're looking at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Microsoft Access, because what is Access? It's a database program. Forms is a database program. Okay? So why should you learn Google versus Microsoft?
Because Google is the thing that's out right now, and like you said, Microsoft's like, oh, nobody even.
Okay, but why is it old? Why is Google
Google has
fresh?
more. Google has more.
Google upgrade.
One thing is it's always being upgraded.
Right.
Microsoft comes up with an upgrade once a year or once every couple of years.
Right.
And then when they do that, everybody moans and groans because all of the changes
If
that
Microsoft-
Google did over a 2-year period, Microsoft does it once, so you kind of have to relearn it, and it isn't going to work. And everybody says, don't convert right away because there's bugs in it. and it's not good. But Google's updating all the time. Google is free.
Exactly.
Microsoft is not free. Okay, that's another reason. The biggest reason, though, is that Google is collaborative because it's cloud-based. So that means you could be on a Google Doc here. Where are you from originally?
Los Angeles, California.
What part? Boyle
East LA,
Heights?
East LA, downtown
You know
area.
Boyle Heights?
I know Boyle Heights.
You know Father Boyle?
No.
Homeboy Industries?
I know that.
Okay.
Oh, you're from LA too.
Okay. We have a school in California, sort of near you, in Santa Fe Springs.
I know that.
Okay. So,
Yeah, skate park right there.
so you could be here, and you could be on a document, and somebody at Homeboy could be on the same document, and you're working on it together.
Exactly.
It's collaborative. How do you collaborate in Word?
Can't.
Well, how do you do it?
You have to save it and email it.
Exactly. You save it, you create a document, you
Right.
save it, you open your email, you attach it as an email, you send it, and then what do?
They read it,
They
download
do the
it.
opposite, right?
Yeah,
They do the
download it.
reverse,
Yeah.
okay? And so things could take
Right.
days because that person's busy when you send it to them, you're busy when they send it back, and it's not very efficient. In Google, with Google Docs, you are both looking at the same document. When one person is typing, you see what they're typing on your screen. So that's huge for businesses that want to do things fast. Because while everybody else is sending back and forth, you're done.
Right.
Okay? So the main thing in life is, for our students, you can't get a job if you can't type. But you're not going to get a job just because you can type, because what? Everybody knows how to type. You can't get an office job, which is what we teach at Larson, your office jobs. You can't get a job in an office unless you know Office, but why isn't this enough?
Because anybody can do that.
Well, because everybody knows Office, and they have more experience. So do you think you're going to get a job if they say, do you know Microsoft Office? And you say, yeah, I just finished school. Here's my certificate. Versus somebody who says, yeah, I've been using it for 10 years.
Exactly.
Okay? So, if you can't get a job if you don't know these, but just because you just learned these, you're not going to get a job, what do? What's the strategy? Huh? No, you just learned it. Now you want to get a job.
Oh, you need experience after that.
Well, maybe. That's the old model.
Right.
Okay, that was the model before the new model.
Right.
Okay. So what is the strategy? This is a strategy in life to be successful. If you're competing with people who have more experience than you, huh?
Apply more than one and tell.
No, didn't we go through that last week?
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Damn, girl.
Okay, what do? This is in life, a strategy. If you're competing with somebody and they have more experience in the game that you're competing with, what do you need to do?
I would just work hard. I would work hard.
You're not working hard isn't going to help you because they're going to work hard.
Right.
And they have experience.
I don't know what strategy is.
Think about it.
Sit around right now.
This is a real, you go through this every day. This is not a thing here. This is life every day. When you're doing something with somebody who has, against somebody who has more experience than you, what do you have to do?
I'm gonna teach you.
No.
You have to join them.
You have to change the rules. Okay, so if we're playing chess, and I have more experience than you in chess, if I don't make a mistake, who's going to win 100% of the time?
You.
Me. And the more better I am, the lower the probability I'm going to make a mistake and the lower chance you're ever going to win, right? But what if we change the rules in chess?
It's anybody's game.
Huh?
It's anybody's game once you change it.
Yeah, so there's a game company called Milton Bradley that came out with a game called SNES, the idiot's chess. And there were a lot fewer pieces, and there were little things on the board where if you landed on this spot, you automatically took a shortcut over here. And so what happened is the guy who's a chess expert, did he have an advantage? No. What did he have?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Why?
Doesn't know the rules of that.
Well, he had a disadvantage because he's trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. He's trying to make SNES fit into his version in his brain of how chess works.
Well, so you don't have to adapt.
So who has an advantage in the game of SNES?
He does.
No.
The other guy does.
The guy who isn't an expert at chess has an advantage because he doesn't have his brain programmed to be like chess. He's always going to go for that square that if you land here, you get to move over there. He's going to get to do that. The other guy won't, but the other guy will probably be able to adapt and then get better shorter. So a strategy in life is if you can't win under the rules of the game, you have to try to change the rules, but don't cheat. And what's the thing we said last time? Never do what? Never start. Never
A
start.
relationship.
Huh?
A relationship.
Never start a relationship.
A personal relationship.
Never start relationship.
I meant something like that.
Never start a relationship on a lie.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
Oh.
Damn, that's the golden rule.
Okay? But now we got to be careful because we might do some role playing,
Right.
and you might think that the best strategy is to lie, like what happened last week. She doesn't remember.
Don't you know
I remember what she did. She doesn't remember what she did.
I don't remember.
Okay?
What I did yesterday.
Remembering stuff is important. Remembering stuff is important. See, the fact we were talking about last week, if you can remember stuff and say, well, 6 months ago we had a conversation, you said this and I said that, and you said this and I said this and you said that and I said that, people are going to say, damn, that guy's smart.
Yeah.
Okay? Right?
Right.
Remember that.
Okay. So remembering things is important. Okay. So knowing these two things doesn't get you a job because everybody else knows those things. So what do we need to do? Change the rules, meaning these things aren't enough. So you got to find out, well, what can I add to the employer that that person can't add? And what is that? What are those white things in the sky?
Clouds.
Clouds. I know the cloud. And all businesses are moving to the cloud. So you want the employer to ask you, why do you want to work here? Is any of this coming back, either of you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why do you want to work here? Now, so let's talk about why am I repeating what I talked about last week? Huh? Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you might think, oh, I'm just going to hear the same thing next week. But not really, because if you don't remember you heard it, it's like you're hearing it for the first time, right? And only when you have the answers to all of the things that I'm saying when I'm asking questions, then do you really know it. It's kind of like learning to play the piano, right? You don't quit the first time you play through a song. What do they do? And do what? Till when?
Until you get know it without.
They do it so they can play it in their sleep, in quotes, right? I know this so I can play it in my sleep. You see guys that are golfers, and they really know how to hit a golf ball, they can put a blindfold on, and they can hit the ball just as well as if their blindfold isn't on, because they've hit 1,000 balls. So a thing to write in your books, important font, is amateurs practice until they what? Amateurs practice until what?
Until they could do it in their sleep.
No.
Until they know it.
Until they get right. Okay. Professionals practice until they what? Close.
Until they get better.
They can't get it wrong.
Damn.
Okay, amateurs practice till they can't get it wrong. So
You
it
mean
used to be
professionals get it until they can't get it wrong, right?
professionals practice until they can't get it
Right.
wrong.
Okay.
Amateurs practice till they get it right, and then they say, okay, I know how to do this. Next.
Exactly.
It used to be the case that Tiger Woods never missed a putt within 5 feet. Never, not ever, ever. Then he had a mental breakdown.
He did?
Yeah, an emotional breakdown
Oh,
because he got caught.
with all the girls?
Yeah. And then he started thinking about all of his endorsements and what
Everything
people
went out
thought
the roof.
about him, and he couldn't think about golf anymore.
Professional practice until they can't get it wrong. I mean,
Exactly.
Okay? So amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. So what do you think that means studying if you get homework and there's 10 math problems? What do amateurs do?
They don't study until they think they got it right.
They're going to get those 10 things right.
I got it right. And then
I'm done because I got them right.
Yeah.
What do professionals do? They say, give me 10 more, because it took me a little bit of time. I had to try to figure out, I had this one little part there that I had to figure out. So who's here remembers hearing the quadratic equation? Okay, what is it?
Y equals.
Okay.
y equals mx plus b. That one?
No,
No, Y equals mx plus b over AC.
almost.
AC over.
Okay, why aren't you looking it up?
Me? I'll write it down. My bad.
You're writing down the quadratic equation?
No, I'll write down that right there.
Okay.
Y equals ax to the second power plus bx plus c. Or it could be x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times ac over 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's the quadratic equation. So,
I knew it was somewhere.
okay, so you were like an amateur on that, right?
Yeah.
At one point, you got it right,
Yeah.
okay? But you didn't go to the point where you can't get it wrong. Okay? So that's an example. That's an example of the difference between amateurs and professionals. And to be a professional, if you can't get it wrong, what does that mean you have to be able to do? Remember it. Okay? That's how come you can't get it wrong. It's because you remember it. And if you're hitting a golf ball, how do you not get it? What's the memory part of golf? What's it called? It's called muscle memory. Okay, it's not brain memory. You're not sitting there figuring, okay, I need to bring the golf club back at exactly 22 miles an hour, stop at this point, pause, and then twist my hips. And you don't do that. Right.
So, like,
It's
if
muscle
you
memory.
you have to put a little bit more into it. If you got somebody in front of you, you obviously have to put more.
Okay.
Jump higher.
So in basketball, what happens? You shoot thousands and thousands of shots, and you don't have to think about how much do I do this and all of that, right? And so you can move anywhere in the court, and your brain instantaneously calculates all the things that you need to do, and your muscle memory kicks in because it remembers from this distance, this is how hard I need to do it. Okay? So it all comes back to memory, being able to remember stuff. And what most people don't do is they don't say, I need to remember this stuff.
I say that. I know I do, I really do need to remember things.
Okay? So what you need to do is you need to get in the habit of saying, this is important, I need to remember it, and then you need to do things so that your brain remembers. Because your brain can't remember everything that you say is important. It goes by what you do. So if you're going and shooting basketballs all the time, is that going to be something that's important?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What if you go play racquetball one time? Are you going to develop muscle memory for racquetball playing one time?
Yes.
No, not one time. Your brain is going to be like, I'm not doing this every day. I don't need to remember how to do racquetball every single day. Okay? But if you know that you're going to be shooting baskets tomorrow, your brain gets, oh, this must be important because I keep doing it. If you're a carpenter and you pound nails all day long, does your brain remember how to do that?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you know what's going on?
Yep.
No.
Oh.
You don't.
You just know that
It's that's right. Somebody who's a professional hammerer, they aren't even aware when they're hammering nails. They're thinking about everything else. It's like driving.
Oh, right, I know what you mean. Like, I could be working on the computer, but I'm thinking about something else.
Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so what we teach at Larson is the cloud. All businesses are moving to the cloud. Why?
Because everything's going up.
Up in the sky?
has more space instead of like.
Okay, well, why do I care about that?
Because everything is updated.
Okay, so here's an important thing to know and write down, because this goes to employment. There's two things that employers care about.
Your appearance?
No.
Oh.
It's two things employers care about. You need to know this when you go get a job. One is making money.
Exactly. Number one.
And what's the second thing?
Personal hygiene? I don't know.
No, it's
Businesses care about personal hygiene?
I mean,
no, it's
they
about
should.
your like being tardy or schedule.
Save money.
Save. Oh, make money and save money. Right.
Okay, that's it.
They should care about personal hygiene. So you can't make money if somebody comes in the workshop speaking, because then they're gonna be like,
What about construction workers that they work in the sun all day?
I'll give you an example.
Basketball players, everything.
do you agree?
Right.
Did anybody see the Ashton Kutcher movie Jobs?
No.
About Steve Jobs?
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen like 30 minutes and I fell asleep.
Huh?
I've seen like the first.
Is that
time.
already?
Okay, so Steve Jobs got a job at Atari. And the people at Atari hated him because what?
Because he over like he was more he was more advanced in Atari, and then they wanted him to stay there, and then he wanted to move on.
No, good guess. Bad hygiene was one thing. And he would go around telling everybody how stupid they were.
That's right.
That's sad.
I haven't seen that movie.
Huh?
I haven't seen that movie.
Okay. So he had bad hygiene. Didn't wash, didn't like wearing shoes, and he told people how stupid they were. And you can see that in the movie Jobs.
Yeah, but that's just a movie. I seen that movie over
Okay.
one time.
Now, if you were here before, a couple months ago, the guy who was the founder of Atari was here.
Right.
Were you here?
I wasn't here when that happened, but Ms. Bonita tells me about that all the time.
Okay. He was here. He's going to be coming back in the next couple weeks. He was here. And he talked about when Steve Jobs worked for him. And all of the employees were saying, Nolan, you got to fire this guy. He smells, and he's very offensive, and we don't like him telling us we're stupid. And Nolan did what? Do you remember what happened in the movie? Huh?
They didn't listen to
Well, what did they do? They said, we have an idea, and about your other matter, about that personal thing, I've got an idea for that too. So they let Steve Jobs work alone at night. Do you remember that part?
it. Yeah.
And then he called up Steve Wozniak because he couldn't do something. And he had Steve Wozniak come in at night to help him do his work because they were pals. Okay, so the cloud though, let's get back to this. So it's not hygiene. Okay, because that was a case of a guy who had very bad hygiene, but he was so good, they figured out a way around it.
Right, that, like his work ethics overshadowed
His
the.
talent,
Right, his talent.
not his work ethics, because his work ethics
Oh,
were,
was it good? It was
you're
good.
stupid.
That's his talent, right, his talent, like his gift.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So no one will say about Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs said, I'm going to go through that wall, he would go through that wall. But you could count on that with Steve, that he was determined and committed, and that wall is coming down. If he says he's going through the wall, that wall is coming down. Now, all businesses want to make money or save money. So a strategy you should have, and write this down, when they go in and they ask you the question, why should we hire you? Or anything like that. Or if they don't ask you that question, and they say, well, is there anything else you want to tell us? You want to say, well, I thought you were going to ask me why you should hire me. You need to get them to ask that question. Now, usually they will, if they're interested in you. Or if they're not interested in you, they'll ask you that question because they're going to expect that you're going to give them a stupid answer. And then they can go back and say, we didn't hire this person because when we asked them, why should we hire you? They said things like what?
To better myself, to make money for myself, and all
Right.
that other stuff. Like,
Okay, so those are bad reasons.
I got bills to pay, I got kids,
Right, okay.
Is it true, like, when they ask you that
Huh?
question,
Was that an
like,
excuse?
they come-
Well, yeah, I mean, if they say, why should we hire you? And you say,
Like, so I can help your company
Right.
excel in this.
no, that's not what you want to say. So those are the things they want you to say.
Yeah.
Right, that's what they
So they say, that's why we didn't hire him, because we asked them, why should we hire you? And they said,
the same thing as everyone else.
exactly. And then it ultimately came down to, because I really, really want a job. Okay, well, that's why we didn't hire you, because
Thirsty.
what you want doesn't matter to us, or why we should hire you. So you want them to ask you the question, why should we hire you? And the first thing that you say, huh? Correct.
Money, money.
Okay, no, you start with the word because.
Oh, okay.
As opposed to what? Exactly, as
No,
opposed
no,
to that.
no. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so the first word that you want to say to questions when they ask you is because, and then you keep going on. Not just because, period. Because, comma, or because, whatever. And you might start, and you don't want to just have one way, but you might start it with saying, well, because like everyone else, I'm a hard worker, I'm dependable, I'm loyal, I give 100%. You know, like everyone else, I do that. But the reason you should hire me is because I'm going to make you more money than anyone else.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
And if you say it like that,
Because I will make
they might believe you.
Yeah.
What if you say it like this? Because I'm going to make you more money than anyone else?
No, that's like
Yeah,
guessing. You're
you're
guessing.
confident what
Yeah.
you're
saying. Yeah.
You're guessing like, oh, I'll make you more
So you have to say it
firm.
as if you believe it.
Right.
And you should believe it. Because otherwise you're starting the relationship off on a lie. If you don't believe you're going to make them more money than anyone else, and you say that, then you're lying. And what should you never start a relationship
With the
off with? Lie. Okay? So why should we hire you? Because I'm going to make you more money than anyone else. What is one of the two things that businesses care about most?
Making money.
Making money.
Saving money.
The only reason they hire people is because they want to make money.
Wait, what was the answer? Because I'm going to make you more money than anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else applying for the job, anyone else that you're interviewing, not in the highest paid guy in the company. But you might say, than anyone else, and they say, higher than our highest performer in the company? One day, yeah.
Ooh, that was good too.
Okay? Again, that's the kind of thing Steve Jobs would say,
One
according to
day
Ellen
I'll-
Bushnell.
One day I will. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, but this is what you want to get out. Why should we hire you? Because I'm going to make you more money than anyone else.
I'm going to. Perfect. I never thought about that one.
How? Then you want them to say, how?
Okay. And then that's when you explain.
Well, you might at this point again say, because I'm a hard worker, you know, like everyone else, I'm a hard worker, I'm loyal, I'm dependable. But really, I know the cloud. And the cloud is going to bring you more customers and make you more efficient.
Is that what I say?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what our students go to school to learn to say, because they do learn the cloud. That's the thing that makes the difference. That's how we change the rules. That's how we tilt the playing field in our favor when we're competing with people who have more experience. I know something you don't know.
Right.
And this company needs that more than they just need somebody who knows what you know. The rules have changed.
Right.
Make you-
What was the because I know the cloud and what?
And the cloud will make you.
The cloud will give you more customers. Cloud brings in more customers. See, now this is why you want to be able to go back and look at this video.
Right. That's exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
Okay.
And the cloud will make you.
We'll bring you more customers.
Okay. And make you more efficient. The cloud does both things. Collaboration, right? We talked about that. Collaboration helps you be more efficient, right? Because you can get things done faster when people are able to collaborate in real time.
More
Was it in one?
Collaborate. The cloud enables you to bring in more customers and collaborate in real time. So you're more efficient.
Oh, cool. So it'll bring more customers and make the business more efficient?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's use a simple example of a carpet cleaning business. What are the operations of a carpet cleaning business?
Clean carpets.
Cleaning carpets, right, that's the operations. How do they make money? Huh?
Oh, by cleaning the carpets.
Well, how do they make more money?
Advertising.
No. Advertising costs you money. Advertising should bring in more customers, right?
Right.
Okay. So how do you make more money cleaning carpets? You do one of two things, one of three things. You clean more carpets, right? You charge more for carpets, and you become more efficient. So instead of having your carpet cleaning guy with a wheelbarrow walking to the different houses, you give them a van and they can drive. Okay? That makes them more efficient, right?
Yeah.
Is it also possible by like making more money, you have like different sales on carpets? Like if it's 4 rooms, you can do it for this price instead.
Okay, but what are you ending up doing? You're going to generate more money per
Yeah.
customer, right? So you either generate more money by cleaning more carpets, so instead of 3 rooms, you now did 4, or you're going to clean more carpets because instead of doing 2 houses, you did 3, or you might get a reputation that this is the Ferrari of carpet cleaning. Okay, like Zero Res, what do they say about their carpet cleaning?
Probably like the best in the city.
They say it's the best and we don't have dangerous chemicals and we don't ruin your carpets and the water is so safe you can drink it. Okay, so now how can the cloud help your carpet cleaning business get more customers?
Cloud can help your business get more customers advertising and you,
Make the business more efficient.
Well, it's all up here. So better customer service,
better sales.
sales and
Better
marketing,
marketing.
Advertising.
can reach more people.
Yeah.
Okay, Google AdWords,
Right.
okay, Facebook,
Twitter,
Twitter,
Instagram.
all of that stuff. If you're spending time letting everybody know in Las Vegas that you have the best carpet cleaning service and here's why. And by the way, we have a special right now.
Did you leave me?
No, I just want to say hi.
Oh, hi. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Are you going to do, should you get more customers if you do that?
Yes.
Okay? Can you get more customers via the internet with social media
Definitely. That's like.
than putting things on people's windows
That's why
in the parking lot?
people throw the papers away. Some people do that.
Yeah, 'cause
They do, but some people don't.
Like, what's the-
But if you don't know the cloud,
Right.
and you're a carpet cleaning business, what do? How do you do this? The old-fashioned way, right? You do it the old-fashioned way. The cloud is the new way.
Right.
But you have to know the cloud, because if you don't know the cloud and you say you know the cloud, what are you doing?
You're lying.
You're lying, okay? And you don't want to start a relationship out on a lie, because it never lasts.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't last. Okay. So that's what we teach people at Larson. And what are some of the things that we've learned so far?
The 4 aspects of business and the 4 aspects of Larson.
Okay.
And what to say in an interview when they say, why should we hire you?
Okay.
And how would you
And
practice
that,
until
yeah.
they get it,
Yep.
professionals, practice until they take it. Right?
Now,
And
let's
those-
just do a little role playing.
Okay.
Okay, what does that mean?
Acting.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to pretend.
I'll go.
I do.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do you guys next. Okay, so if I say, let's pretend you're interviewing at my company, right? And let's just pretend we make pizzas. Okay, and I say, great, Shamara, good to see you. You're looking for a job? Are you employed right now?
No.
Okay. Are you actively looking for work?
Yes.
Okay, so
Wait,
tell,
okay. What's the pizza company? Because then I'm supposed to, aren't I supposed to say, I also applied at blah, 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 which is their enemies.
Yeah, but with most companies.
we're at Chuck E.
they
Cheese.
say, like,
Let's
that
just,
you
we're at
have
Chuck
to
E.
do
Cheese.
for work. And if
Yeah.
you say you have a job, that means that you're actually,
Working.
yeah, you're actually committed to.
Okay, but do you have a job? No. Okay, are you actively looking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing? Tell me about that. Why are you laughing?
Because I don't know what to say for that part.
Well, pretend it's real. Okay, so DJ, are you actively looking?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about
I have multiple resumes.
it. Okay, how many, what does that mean? About how many a week do you send out?
10 a week.
10 a week?
At least,
Okay, so why do you want to work here?
because I can.
Okay, so what's the problem already? What was the problem already
He forgot.
that you did last week? If you say, I'm looking at 10 places a week, what does that tell me?
Are you looking at,
That you don't care about working here, you just want a job,
right.
Just being applied.
right? It's a trick question. Because you think what they want you to say is, yeah, I'm out there, I'm going to 10 companies a day, I'm really committed to get a job. Do they want somebody who really wants to get a job?
No.
No.
Well, they do.
They want somebody that's gonna fit them.
They want somebody who wants to work for them.
Yeah, right.
If it's you and you really want to work for me, you're a little bit more talented, I think you might quit the second a better job comes along.
You
I
pick
just
me.
might.
Huh?
I just might if the money's right.
Okay, so who am I going to hire?
Me.
Right. So it's not always good to say, yeah, I have a job. Because people that do these interviews that are in HR, that's what they do for a living. So they're trying to figure out what. I'll give you a little hint and try to remind you. Let's pretend this is your resume. No, we used one from last week.
Oh, they're trying to figure out if you lied on your resume to see if you match the person.
So at work, when you go in for an interview because you sent your resume in, maybe it's electronic, let's say they printed it, they call you in because they like your resume, right?
But they want to make sure that you're actually that person.
Exactly. They want to make sure you're this person.
Or yours.
Now, do you think if they say to somebody who didn't do this, let's say you had somebody prepare your resume for you, service, and the employer says, you're in your interview and the guy says, okay, DJ, thanks for coming in. Did you prepare your resume? What are most people going to say?
Yes.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I'm prepared.
Huh?
They would say, yes, I did.
Okay. Now they might be lying, right? Because if they had a service do it, are most people going to say, well, not really. I paid Hexapetsa service to do my resume. Are most people going to do that?
No, I think that would be good.
So they're expecting people are not going to tell the truth. You got there because you had a good-looking resume. The resume has to be perfect. It's an important thing. Because there could be 400 people applying for a job. They're not going to look at your resume in the beginning. What they're going to look at, literally, they're going to say yes, no, or maybe. They might have 400 resumes. They might look at it for 10 seconds.
7 seconds.
Okay? 5. Let's say, whatever. They're going to look at it for a few seconds, and they're going to look to see, does this look professional? Why? Because they only want to hire one person, and they know that there's going to be somebody that has the combination of perfect resume, and they want to work for us, and they fit in, and we like them. So if you can't even do your resume right, you probably can't do anything else right either.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the way they think. So the resume has to look perfect. So you got the interview because you had a perfect looking resume. But as DJ said, they need to make sure this is actually you. Because if they knew this was you, they wouldn't need to do an interview. They'd just say you're hired, right?
Right.
So you come in for the interview, and they're trying to figure out, is this you? And they don't think you're going to tell them the truth. So back to our thing over here, if you don't believe somebody's going to tell you the truth, what do you have to do to find the truth?
Dig.
Ask questions.
Ask questions, because you got to do what?
Because you have to filter out the truth from the lie.
Exactly. You got to try to catch them in a lie. If you can't catch them in a lie, what does that mean?
The truth.
You're telling the truth.
Right.
And that's how it works when you get interviewed by the police. Okay? They're trying to find the lie.
Right.
If they can't find the lie, then what do they conclude?
Guilty.
No, if they
No,
can't
like-
find the
Oh,
lie.
and then agree. My bad, my bad.
You can go now.
Yeah.
Like, we're done.
I couldn't, well, they might say, I still think you're guilty, but
Yeah.
Right.
I can't hold you. I don't have enough grounds to
Exactly.
arrest you, okay? So people doing interviews, it's the same thing. They're trying to figure out, is this you? So they will do tricks like make you think that the right answer is to say, yeah, I'm sending 10 resumes out a day.
Yeah.
I'm really committed. Or they might want you to think, yeah, I already have a job. I'm just looking for a better job. Because I always learned it's easier to get a job when you have a job, which is true. For psychological reasons, it's true. You're less desperate, and you come across as being more confident.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready for the next trap?
Right.
Okay, so this is your resume, Danny.
Yes.
I'm reading your resume. What's the last job you had?
Maybe.
Old Navy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at your resume, and I say, oh, Old Navy, tell me about that.
I used to do customer service. I used to clean the floors. I used to do stocking.
Wait, hold it. That's not what this says.
Yeah, that's what we talking about.
If that happens to me, I'm feel like, oh, it must be a typo. That's what I would say.
Okay.
And then, but I wouldn't be
Okay.
right.
Now, why do they do that?
Oh, they're tricking you. Like, they want you to say, oh, well,
They want to find out if you
Right.
wrote this resume and this is you.
Oh, so I would have been like, no, it isn't there.
You'd say something like, I think it does say that.
Right.
Or, huh? Not like, well, what do you mean? You don't ever answer a question by restating the question.
Right.
If I say, it doesn't say this right here, and you say, it doesn't say that right there, what that's telling me is,
Like,
you're trying to think of what to
don't know.
say.
Right. Oh, okay.
So never answer a question by repeating the question somebody asked you.
Did I do that right now? No, right?
No.
Okay, good.
But you people do that. That's why it's good to get in the habit of saying because. In law school, the first year of law school, they teach you the answer to every question starts with the word because.
But isn't that like, for, like, don't you use that for excuses too? Like, well, because.
Yeah, some people see that as like,
Yeah.
like, or you're thinking of an excuse because you say, because I did this. Or,
Okay.
like,
You're taking, yeah,
Oh.
people do that when they're guilty, but the best way to start and answer the question is with the word because.
Okay.
Because you're getting right to the answer. Why do you want to work here? Because of this.
Right.
Now, what if I say, why do you want to work here? And I say, why do I want to work here? People do that, right?
It's like you're asking yourself, you're not sure why. Like, that's
You're, what it
sounds
comes
like.
across as, you're trying to think of why you
Yeah,
want to work
yeah.
here. So the thing that people typically do when they don't have an answer to a question is they repeat the question.
To stall,
Yeah,
huh? Okay.
okay. So if I think you're stalling, what does that tell me?
Oh, he's lying.
Yeah, he's lying or he doesn't know.
Or he's not, he doesn't really care or something like that.
It's just not good. Now, if you start the answer with because, and you go right to the answer, what does that tell me?
That means that you know exactly what you want.
Okay, you have an answer.
Yeah.
Now, it could be that if I say, well, why did you do this? And you say, well, because my dog ate my homework. Okay, it could be a bad reason.
Exactly.
It could be a bad reason. But if somebody says, why didn't you turn your homework in? And your answer is, why didn't I turn my homework in? Okay, whatever you're going to say next is not true. If somebody says, why didn't you turn your homework in? And your first answer is, what does that mean?
You're thinking of something to say.
Yeah, you're thinking about something to say. If you start with because, now you have my interest. I want to hear what comes out of your mouth next.
That's what I'm about to say. Like right now we said, oh, because, then I'm like, okay.
Not oh, because.
Oh, yeah, not oh, because. My bad.
Because, and then you go on
Right.
with the answer. You don't just say because. Why do you like this show? Because I do. Okay, that doesn't help. Why do you want to work here? Because I do. Okay, you don't want to do it. But the second trick that another trick they will do is they will say, and you'll know they're going to do it because they're going to accentuate looking at your thing.
Right, like a little closer to it.
So they're going to pull it up, and they're going to say, and they might go like this, tell me about that job at Old Navy. Tell me about the job at Old Navy. And they'll do this intentionally so that you see subconsciously, you're not even aware of it, but you know when somebody goes like that they're focused on that, right?
Right.
He's not focused on that. He's focused on what your reaction is going to be the second he says, that's not what this says right here.
Right.
Maybe you're wrong. Here's my other copy.
Huh?
I said, maybe you're wrong. Here's my other copy.
And so you have to be confident.
Yeah.
I think it does say that. Really? I think it does.
Right.
And he'll say, oh, just check it.
Right.
I need to find, if he likes you, or she, they'll say something like, well, my job fundamentally is, I really like your resume. I need to find out whether you wrote it.
Exactly.
And 95 out of 100 people that I say, did you write this, all say yes. And only a third of the people write their resumes. So is it good to have somebody write your resume?
Oh.
Okay, now what they teach you the second year of law school is the answer to every question starts with it depends.
Yeah, so that's it.
Okay?
Yeah, it does depend because like if you're sitting right next to the person and you really don't know you know what you have or you know your abilities, but the person knows how to phrase it the right way.
Exactly.
Okay.
You could be there.
So here's the thing. if you're the right person for this job, you don't want to lose it because they only looked at your resume for 7 seconds and saw that you didn't have good grammar or good computer formatting skills.
Yeah. So
it's okay to have somebody help you for the right reasons.
but you can't have somebody
Make it up for you.
Now let me go back to this. So Larson, so I talked about what we do, but I didn't talk about who our students are. Who are our students?
We are.
No,
Oh, no.
you're not Larson. Our students are people who are in prison. We have a campus inside of the prison here in Las Vegas. Prison, got out of prison, homeless, they live at Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, Shade Tree, homeless veterans, people like that. That's who our students are. And our placement rate for 2 years in a row has been the highest placement rate of any post-secondary school in the state of Nevada, at over 85%. So, a lot of these people mainly operate at a 3rd grade level for reading, writing, and math. Doesn't mean they're not street smart. Doesn't mean they're not good salespeople. In fact, most of them are very good salespeople because they don't have other skills like reading, writing, and math, so they have to compensate for that. So for those people, the only way they're going to get employed is if they have help doing their resume. But you cannot lie or exaggerate on your resume because the second this person says, aha, gotcha, what doesn't happen? Yeah, you don't get hired because if I can't trust you, I can't trust you. Now, my job as the interviewer is to make sure we don't hire the wrong people. Who here knows Zappos? Zappos?
Yeah, it's like clothing.
Oh,
Shoes. They do more than shoes now, but they started as shoes. They used to be in Henderson, now they're downtown.
Right.
Okay. And it's a great company, and the president's a really good guy, etc. But here's what they do when they're hiring people.
What was the question?
There was no question.
Oh,
I decided to wait till you were done. Because you won't remember what I say if you're doing something else, right?
Right.
Because our brains don't work that way. So at Zappos, here's what they do. Okay, we want to fly you in. We want to bring you in for an interview for this important position. First, we're going to pick you up at the airport. We're going to bring you down. We're going to give you a tour of our place. Then we've got about 5 interviews. In the meantime, we're going to have lunch with Tony Shea. And then we'll have a couple more things, and then we'll take you back to the airport. And you go downstairs, and the van driver drives you back to the airport. The interesting thing that Zappos does is the second the guy gets back from driving you to the airport, he goes in and he talks to people in HR. Why? Why would Zappos want to talk to the van driver?
To get
You're
it
going to
to get.
provide in the van driver experience.
Huh?
Because you're most likely going to provide in that van driver experience. And the van driver's going to tell them,
Yeah.
I think he's a good fit, or
Yeah.
When you are on your interview, you're on your best behavior, right?
Yes.
Okay, when it's over and you're driving back to the airport,
they want to see how you act. So
how are you normally going to be?
Relax.
Right. Boy, man, you guys really have an interesting company here. Boy, that was kind of crazy. Or whatever. And the van driver's taught to ask certain questions. And the van driver is there to do the same thing. Is this guy a fit for Zappos? And they bring him in and they say, okay, well, what happened? Well, I asked him this, and this, and here's how it went. And they make a decision based on that because they wouldn't have spent the time and energy to interview you if what?
They were Interested in you.
Yeah, if they didn't think you were the right guy, they wouldn't do that. But they want to make sure you are the right person. Now, if they said to the guy, okay, we're going to have the van driver drive you back, but psst, he's going to report back to us after he drops you off.
That would be just like I was in that interview.
Exactly.
Okay? How you'd be on your best behavior in the van ride, right? And that might not be who you really are. So, okay, so that's what we do at Larson. That's who we do. That's what our results are. And we help people do their resumes, but the resumes are about them. And so, what are the two things that businesses care about the most?
Making money and saving.
Right, making money and saving money. And they want to hire people who do what?
Remember things?
Who make them money or save them money.
Exactly
Okay.
what they want you to do.
So again, we're just repeating this to help you remember. Because here's how our brain works. The more times you say something or see it, you make another copy in your brain.
Right.
Okay. So the reason we say write this stuff down, what's one reason?
To remember,
How do you remember? By writing it down.
because it's there, all the information's there, so if you forget, just read it.
Okay, so you can go back and review it.
Right, review.
Okay, but an interesting thing happens. When I tell you something, you only hear it.
Hear it.
Okay, if you have to write notes, what do you now have to do? You hear it,
You see it.
but then what do you do before you see it? If I say, write the word apple,
Here.
okay, what are all of the steps that happen in your, not all of them, but what are the major steps that happen in your brain? You hear it, right?
You hear it and then you visualize it.
Okay, you visualize what?
An apple.
You visualize an apple maybe, but then you visualize how to spell apple,
Yeah.
right? So in your brain, you visualize the letters.
Yeah, right.
Then when you have to write it, what do you now have to do?
You have to,
You have to actually write it.
right, yeah.
Okay, apple, A, P, and when you're writing it, what are you doing? You're spelling it, but you're looking at it, right?
Right.
Okay, so all of these things, every time you have to write and take notes and write things down, you hear it, you translate it in your brain, you figure out what it is so you can write it, then you're watching yourself write it, and then after you wrote it, what do?
Read it.
Read
You
it.
see it, and then you say, okay, apple. Then, once you have it written down, now what can you do?
Remember it.
You can keep going back and looking at it, right? If you don't take notes, what happens?
It's gone. It's in the air, in the clouds. So.
Okay, so we have this thing called working memory. Okay, working memory is that kind of memory that helps us function. And we can only keep about 4 things in our working memory at one time. It's always in and always out. Okay, so you need to convert from working into long-term memory. So when you're not taking notes, it's going into your working memory, and unless you can relate it to something, it's going to be gone. So if I say to you, I want you to remember this guy's name, I'm going to come back next week, the guy's name I want you to remember is Baker. Baker. Don't write it down. Don't write it down.
Oh, shit! Let me write it down.
Okay, don't write it down, but it's not actually the name, this is the example,
Oh,
okay? So this is called the Baker thing. So if I say, remember the guy's name is Baker, that's just a name. But what were you gonna do to help you remember it?
help me remember because I like to skateboard. And
Huh?
Right,
I like to skate, they make Baker skateboard, so.
Okay, so you associated it with something else.
Yeah.
So what do you think most people would do?
Bakery.
They'd think of a baker,
Yeah.
right? The white hat,
Yeah.
flour, smells good, right? Pastry,
Right.
you associate it with something. That's one way to get things from working memory into long-term memory, is you associate it with something that is common to you. So people who are very good at remembering names, they'll have a name and they'll say, now, how can I remember this name? Other than just repeating it 20 times. You want to associate it with something. So your name isn't really easy to associate, right?
You can associate it with Christina. Christiana.
Well, but then I have to say, well, but there's not a thing, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
So DJ, what could I do for DJ?
Disc jockey.
Exactly,
Disc
right?
jockey, that's the first
I have a picture in my mind of one of these billboards on the side of the freeway of a guy who's a DJ at a club.
Right.
I see that, but not clubs.
So then I have to associate you, so when I see you, I think of a DJ. Okay. Now, what could I do for
Danny
Danny?
is an easy name. Like there's Danny Glover, Danny Phantom, Danny,
Okay.
all types of things.
So one way to do it would be,
So-
so one way would be to look at you and say, who do I know somebody named Danny that you remind me of?
Right.
Okay, so the association is somebody I know because that person is in long-term memory. Right? I'm not just trying to say, okay, I gotta now take hearing your name, seeing you, take it from working memory and put it in long-term memory. That's not the good way to do it.
Right.
It's to associate with other stuff. And here's another one that's crazy. Okay.
Not crazy.
No, I don't mean it as a non-compliment to your name,
I know,
but it's not,
It's hard to remember.
It's not really, it's, all you have to remember is more, and then just add the should.
This is your name.
Okay,
You have
so
to
that would be-
know, but, like,
so-
you guys know you, like-
so people look at my last name and they say, wow, I can't remember that, that's hard to spell.
Last name?
Yeah.
My last name too. My last name's so weird. It's
Okay, but mine has a very easy thing. So when people say, how do you spell your last name? I'll say one of two things. I'll say B, evil, aqua with a C.
Right.
Be evil, aqua with a C.
Okay, so how do you spell your name? B, evil, and aqua with a C. So if I say B, right? Evil. Aqua, what's aqua?
Water.
Water.
Aqua, but we usually spell A-Q-U-A, right?
Right.
The Italian way is A-C-Q-U-A.
What
That's
is
my
that?
last name, half.
My last name is Italian too. Mazzochi.
Okay, so if I say to you now, be evil, aqua with the C,
Oh, okay, okay.
you'll be able to spell it and remember it, right? Or I'll say to people, devil aqua rhymes with devil, okay? So that's how that's how our brains work. The easiest way to remember something is to associate it with something you already remember.
It's like in math, like they have like there's yeah, please excuse my grand salad.
Yeah.
What?
And that's
Parentheses.
parentheses.
Oh.
See? So
Decimals.
Right. PEMDAS.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, so it's like the same thing, huh?
Some other
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Okay, there's little memory tricks.
Yeah.
So that's called, in the memory game, that's called chunking.
Chunking.
Is if you learn a thing, and then you associate other things with things that you learn. Or when they draw it, it'll be drawn like a spiral. And the more things that you learn, it just keeps adding on and on and on. So if you're going to learn to play a long song on the piano, you learn by starting at the beginning and you work your way through it. Okay, so let's do a quick review for employment. So you have something practical to take out of here.
Chunky.
Yeah.
We're going chunky.
Okay, so you remember them. Okay? So the most important thing to be successful is what? How we started. Exactly.
Memory.
To remember stuff. To remember stuff. And the more stuff you remember, the more value you have. How you doing? Good. You want to join us? Okay, good. Sign in. So the more stuff you remember, the more value you have. Great. Have a seat. That's the number one thing to be successful.
The number one thing to be successful is remember.
Huh?
The number one thing to be successful is remember.
To remember more stuff. So good students are better than other not good students because they do what? What is your name? Marcus. Okay, so I would say, oh, Marcus Aurelius. Who is Marcus Aurelius?
Who is it?
That was good.
Oh, what?
Okay.
Marcus or what?
Marcus Aurelius. There you go. See, good response.
I got it.
I've been thinking about that bus pass, and I gotta say, it was close between you two guys. Christiana didn't really want to play.
Those I know. Well, come.
And Shamara, I picked on too much. Because she was here last week and didn't
That's
remember.
what his last name?
But they're gonna have an advantage. Aurelius.
Really?
Anybody see the movie Gladiator?
Yes.
Oh.
Which one's he? Oh, is it the main character?
No, that was Maximus.
Marcus Aurelius
Oh,
was a Roman emperor
right.
from 161 to 180.
Did you know that? Who were you named after?
You named after Roman emperor, bro.
It's a lot of
His own
Huh?
It's a lot of players.
Who?
named Marcus.
Who?
Who?
Marcus Allen?
Marcus Garvey. If you said no, I knew who that was. I was like, okay, cool.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna talk for a couple minutes about Marcus Aurelius.
Sorry.
Marcus Aurelius, are you on Wikipedia?
Yes.
Okay, what does it say? How did I know that?
And that was the first that popped up on Bing. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor from 161 to 180.
Okay.
He ruled with Lucius Verus,
Varus.
Verus, as co-emperor from 161 until Verus' death in 169. He was the last emperor of the five good emperors, and is also considered one of the most important
Stoic.
Stoic philosophers.
Okay.
Okay, you knew exactly what I was saying. I'm like, come on. Like,
Why is that?
So he was, remember.
Because I remember. Okay, what is Stoicism? Okay, so write this down.
Yeah, write it down.
Stoicism is
Okay, you have a pen, Marcus?
Hellenistic philosophy founded in Athens by.
Well, it says something different right here. It says the endurance of pain, hardship without a display of feelings and without.
Okay, so you guys can go look that up later. So I'm just going to give you the very highlighted version of Stoicism. Okay, but write this down.
Okay. Wait, what was number 2? That is?
Or what number 2?
My computer ain't got anything.
I know, because you're on the wrong side of the room. But that's okay. So write down categorical imperative. Okay, write this down, categorical imperative.
That's two
So-
R's?
Huh?
That's two R's in category?
No, that's C.
C-A-T-E-G-O-R-I-C-A-L.
Oh, alright.
Categorical imperative.
Categorical imperative. What?
you're inclined to put data in categories and working on.
Okay, so one of the basic questions of life is, what is the right thing to do? Okay. What is the right thing to do? The categorical imperative is a test that you can do, you can apply to say, if I do this, is this the right thing to do? Skipping forward to Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism. Stoicism is the only thing that passes the categorical imperative test. And the categorical imperative test says, act such that whatever you do is a law. Then ask, if everyone did this, would we be better off? Okay? So act that, like whatever you want to feel like doing. Okay, somebody dropped $1 on the ground, and I said, finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
That's a rule that you make for yourself. But
If everybody acted that way, would society be better off?
nope.
Okay? So then the answer, should I do it, would be what? What should I do would be what?
No.
Not take it as my own. Don't take things that don't belong to me.
Right.
Now, if everybody didn't take things that didn't belong to them, would the world be better?
No.
If everybody didn't take things that didn't belong to them?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So the categorical imperative test is a great way to figure out, should I do this or not? Okay. Should smoking marijuana be legalized?
Yes.
Okay.
It is already.
Now, if everybody smoked marijuana, would the world be better?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Why?
Why?
Why do you think it would be yes?
Because it calms you down and mellows you out and make a lot of stuff go over your head. You ignore a lot of stuff.
It makes your intellect, it makes you more.
So end wars.
Yeah. If everyone was to, smoke marijuana, there would be less crime, and there wouldn't be as many wars. Like,
No.
Will we be better?
so if you high, you want to be mad at somebody. When you're high, you're happy.
Okay, go ahead.
Because most people, they want to chase a bigger high, a stronger high, so
That's
it
hard.
leads to,
No,
it leads
no,
to.
That's
no,
good.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
It's not,
no.
it's not, I'm messing with you.
Okay, now, all right, okay, so let's address that quickly. So it is not true
Not true.
It is not a
that
gateway
you're
drug.
always going to have, go after something
Not,
else.
not always, but most people do.
No.
However,
No.
however,
It's not a gateway drug.
I will tell you, because we have a campus inside of the prison.
Oh, you work at a jail?
No, I work at a school, but we have a campus inside of the prison.
Oh, all right.
And parenthetically, I also got a 7-year term in California prison for white-collar crime. So I spent time in a California prison.
What, like some law, like some business type stuff, robbing them or
Yeah.
something? All right.
Well, sort of like that. But since we brought that up, so I got a 7-year term in California prison for white-collar crime. The reason I got a 7-year term is because they offered me a 6-year term, and I said I'm not going to plead guilty to something I didn't do. Now, what happens if you commit a crime and they make you an offer? The DA makes you an offer. What do guilty people do?
Take it. Take it.
No, they don't take it.
You dumb.
What do?
They fight it.
They, if you did it, if
Oh,
you're
you
guilty,
did it, you gonna fight.
Oh,
Okay.
You gonna fight.
you negotiate for a better deal.
Right,
Yeah.
It's like this right here.
You don't take
Like,
it to
can I
the
explain
boss.
the scenario?
Huh?
Can I explain the scenario? My brother was in jail.
His brother.
My brother was in jail for murder, right? They tried to give him like 30 to life.
Yeah.
He did it off the bat. He did not take the deal. Next thing you know, he come with 15 to life. And he come with 10.
Right.
And so you know, mistrial.
Right, right.
You feel me? You don't never take it.
Well, so
I do, bro.
if you're guilty, you try to negotiate a better deal. Okay. If you're guilty, you don't say, no, I'll take more. I agree. I should have done it. But I said, no, I'm not going to plead guilty to something I didn't do. And the judge said, well, if you go to trial and you lose, I'm inclined to give you 20 years.
Right. That'll scare a lot of people.
And at that part, you don't think about your guilt or your innocence, you think about
All
your
the
attorney.
time. All that
You
time.
think about your attorney.
Oh, right.
Can he persuade the jury? Because you're betting on him. And I said, no, I'm not gonna take that, but I'm not gonna plead guilty to something I didn't do. So my co-defendants, who actually were the guilty guys, they ended up getting 3 years. Because they were guilty and they negotiated a better deal.
Oh, right.
And I said, I'm not gonna plead guilty to something I didn't do. So instead of getting 3 years, I got 7.
7?
Okay. Now I can tell you, having been in prison, everybody in prison smokes marijuana.
Everyone.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying marijuana is a gateway drug. I'm not saying because you smoke marijuana, you're going to go on to meth or heroin.
Right.
Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you did a property crime because of meth or heroin, you also smoke marijuana. So to your point, it's not that it's a gateway drug.
To some people.
It's just looking at it the other direction they do it. But here's the reason.
So what you're saying, if you do a hardcore drug, 9-10,
You don't smoke weed. You don't smoke, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
And booze and cigarettes,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
which are legal.
Right.
Okay. I'm not saying that's the reason that marijuana does not pass the categorical comparative test. I'm not saying that's the reason. That was Shamara's reason of why it should not be legal, because it's a gateway drug. It's not. It just so happens that everybody in prison also smokes marijuana. Now, when I say everybody, I don't mean in California prisons 100%, because I don't.
Oh, that's
smoke
what.
marijuana.
I thought, man, everyone in there.
No, I don't mean
That's right.
every
Oh, I
single
smoked
person.
it. I smoked it before. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they don't. I'm not saying in prison they're smoking marijuana. I'm saying people who are.
They do that.
But they do smoke
Well, that's not okay. So here's the reason why. It was the reason you said why they should, because it does what?
Mellow you up.
Okay, what did you say, DJ?
Oh, same thing, they calm you
Okay,
down.
what did you
I
say?
said, oh, and war.
Yeah.
If everyone smoked,
Okay, but when we say everyone, it's not an absolute every single person.
let's say like Afghanistan, let's say we're going to go with Afghanistan. Well, why don't they all sit down, smoke, and then talk about it instead of going to war? You do?
Because everyone won't do it. And the one person who doesn't do it has a big advantage.
Good.
The one person who doesn't do it has a big advantage over the people who do. Because that's the alpha male and everybody else is not. But that's not the reason why. The reason why it doesn't pass the categorical imperative test is if everybody smoked marijuana, what would we not have? These, cars.
How do you know that?
Smoke
No.
will make you think about what is.
Yeah, it'll make you think
I
about it.
don't believe that.
Yeah, it'll make you
When
think
you're
about
high, you think about a lot more.
No,
Well,
people
you're
lie.
lying.
Where it's 10 times better as it is, you're
So
more
one of the
aware,
things that happens when you're on drugs, and they look at your brain when you're in a functional MRI machine, you have a lot more brain activity. Okay. But sometimes you need less brain activity
Right. I know what
to
you
do
mean.
things.
Like, right. Too much of anything is bad. So
Okay, what do tweakers do?
they
Oh,
They invent it. They create things.
Oh.
No, they get high and then they start.
Yeah, they'll take their car engine apart,
Right.
okay? Take their watch apart, they'll do things. So, but here's the reality in life. Stuff gets done
Regardless.
because people feel they have a gun at their head, where failure is not an option. They don't say screw it. So last week we talked about Thomas Edison and the light bulb, right? right?
Yes.
What did we decide? What did we say? What happened? He failed like 4,000 times. Now, what would happen if he just said, I'll just light up?
He would never.
We wouldn't have light bulbs.
We're still using candles.
Huh?
We're still
Yeah,
using
why?
candles.
He refused to give up. Why? And so they went through like 3,000, 4,000 tries before they figured out how to get a light bulb to work. And what was the answer? It wasn't important to them. They remembered.
I don't remember. I'm not even gonna try.
Where was the answer to what?
Now,
How did what was the problem Thomas Edison had to solve to get a light bulb to work? Hmm?
Keep trying.
Yeah, I know.
Let me think.
Okay,
Like,
well,
One thing.
Can we another bowl?
Or just not to let them give up. So they said something like,
Well, what they said to themselves is every time they failed, instead of saying, screw it, we failed, they said, well, we just discovered another way that doesn't work.
Dang. So it was like they learned from all their mistakes.
Well, they weren't, that's what they said. Another thing Thomas Edison said, he was very successful. He had this big factory, it caught on fire. Everything he had, his whole lab, everything was being destroyed. He called his family out and he said, come out, this is going to be the most magnificent fire you'll ever see in your life. Instead of saying, where's the gun, I need to blow my brains out, because my life's work is gone, he turned it around to a positive.
Exactly.
But what was the solution to the light bulb? Why did the light bulb not work? The filament kept burning out. Okay? And they tried all kinds of different filaments, but they kept burning out until they did what? What are the things that you need for fire?
Wood.
Dry
Well,
wood.
you don't need wood.
Friction.
You need some kind of fuel, right? Could be wood, could be gasoline. Okay, what else?
Electricity.
No.
Sparks.
Fire.
Air.
Fire.
Air.
You need fire to get fire? No. Heat, right?
Heat. Right. The sun.
Okay. What do you need? What else do you need? Okay. Pretend this is a candle. Okay, it's lit.
Lit game.
I put a jar over
Well,
the top.
you need oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. You gotta say it so I hear you.
Sorry.
You can't do the oxygen. Can't do that. So he discovered when they took the oxygen out of the light bulb, the filament didn't burn out. But the key thing is, he didn't give up. He was very frustrated, and he said, you know what? I am smarter than this. I'm smarter than that fire.
Right.
I can figure out a solution. And most of the great things that ever happened in the world were because people didn't give up. They didn't just say it's not worth it.
Exactly.
Lots of stuff came from accidents too.
Huh?
Lots of stuff came from accidents too.
Yeah.
Lots of what?
Stuff came from
They
accidents.
came from accidents because people didn't give up, like rubber, right? Vulcanized rubber. What happened with vulcanized rubber?
I never heard of that.
Okay? So rubber as we know it is different than the rubber that grows on is sap in trees. Rubber comes from trees in South America.
I didn't know
It's sap. They put these little plugs in trees and this white goo drips out. And it's very sticky. And when it dries, it gets kind of firm, and they would make stuff out of that kind of rubber. But the problem is it didn't hold up. And this guy named Firestone was experimenting. He blew through everything. Took money, didn't pay his bills, debtor's prison, all kinds of stuff. But he said, you know what, if I can figure out how to make rubber practical, I will be rich. And he's in his kitchen doing stuff with rubber, heating it up and doing stuff, and he spilled some rubber on his stove. It caught on fire and burned. And what do you think happened when it cooled down? It's like the rubber we know. It was hard but flexible. So you could make things with rubber. And the main thing rubber is used for is what? Car what?
For sex.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm just playing.
Okay. What's the main thing rubber is used for in cars?
Tires,
Not tires.
the belt. No,
It's used for gaskets. What's a gasket?
I don't know nothing about cars.
Oh, a gasket.
Where two pieces of metal fit
Yeah.
together. You
Oh,
put a
like-
gasket in there to form a seal
Okay.
so that whatever is going through those two pieces of metal doesn't wear out or doesn't leak.
I'm like a washer.
It's like a washer is a gasket. A
Right.
washer is a gasket.
Right.
Okay? So, categorical imperative test. We've got 5 minutes. Categorical imperative test says act such that whatever you do is a law, then ask if everyone did it, would we be better off? We would not be better off if everybody had their own little plot of land and they were, scavenging for food out in the forest. It's much better going to the supermarket
Exactly.
and having little green pieces of paper that people will accept as money.
Oh,
Okay? Stoicism passes this because it starts with the preposition that there are things you can control and things you cannot control. Don't let the things you can't control bother you. Not get out the marijuana,
right.
okay? Don't let the things you can't control bother you. What can you control? Well, the only things you can really control are your emotions. I can't control you, you can't control me, but I can control my emotions. So in Stoicism, the thing is do the right thing at the right time. Okay? It ultimately comes down to moral virtue is enough. If you do the right thing at the right time, that's enough.
Perfect.
Marcus Aurelius, what did it say, DJ, about Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism? Best example of a Stoic philosopher?
He was the most, wait, what was the question?
Never mind. So Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic, and he's the best example of Stoicism.
Yeah,
This
he was
guy,
the last of the 5 great emperors.
he was the emperor of Rome, which meant what? Meant he owned everything.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything he wanted, he could have. Wanted to be drunk, he could get boatloads of wine brought in. Have sex with women,
Right.
anything he wanted, all the gold, kill people, do whatever.
He did it.
No, he didn't do it. He did the right thing at the right time.
So basically, it's
For
because you can't
19
do
years.
shit.
Exactly,
For
bro.
19 years, he, as the emperor that could have anything he wanted, he did this. How do we know? Because he wrote a book. It was his journal. It's called The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Meditation meaning things he thought about. And he wrote this book to himself, his journal about notes, because he couldn't really talk to anyone because nobody was his equal, and they all wanted something from him.
Right.
So he could have been a lonely guy. He wasn't lonely, but he could have been. And he wrote this book of just stuff to himself. And he gave instructions to burn the books when I die, burn my journals when I die. But the people, his attendants, his secretaries, said, no, no. Once he died, they found this stuff and they said, we cannot burn this. So this was written up through 180, and you can get it off the internet. His book. This is a book written by the most powerful guy in the world, a real guy, not like the Bible, not like the New Testament, where it's not about what Jesus said, right? It's what people said Jesus said. Okay? None of the New Testament is written by Jesus, right? Does everybody know that?
Yep. It's all like,
The old one needs it, right?
Huh?
The old one needs it. That's why they got the book, the person.
Right.
First have the
Okay.
first name over.
So
after
this
you
is a
wrote it.
book.
This is it right now.
This is a book written by the guy who was a Stoic, who was the most powerful guy in the world, and he demonstrated that it's not just talk. You can do this. You could be the most powerful guy in the world, and you could live such that if it was a law.
So what's the book like? Is it like a biography, or did he just like
Thoughts that he would think of,
Right.
just things that he would think of.
So it's about thoughts, not
Okay,
against.
don't let people get you upset. Either teach them or just ignore them. Okay? When you die, either something's going to happen or nothing happens. If there's gods and you die, the question, should I be a good person or not? Well, if there is no God, why should you act good? Why should you? There's no God. When you die, if you're just atoms in the void,
I'm a good person.
why not do whatever you want to do?
I'm an atheist, and I'm a good person.
Okay.
I ain't good with the guy.
So good. So what you should do, since you are named after Marcus Aurelius, now maybe the Marcus you're named after wasn't Marcus Aurelius.
I wasn't named after nobody.
Did you name yourself?
I got 20 names. I ain't named myself I want.
Okay, but somebody gave my name.
Yeah, but they don't know no damn Marcus.
Well, but they might have known somebody named Marcus, and that Marcus Aurelius might have been named after Marcus Aurelius.
I truly doubt that.
Well, I bet if you trace your name to who you were named, go back.
To the oldest person in history named Marcus.
No, not the oldest person in history.
So will not be.
But at a certain point, somebody said, let's name this kid after Marcus Aurelius, because if they adopt that as their role model, this is going to be a great guy. Okay? What's your last name?
Interest.
Petrus.
And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you have been speaking about him if I didn't walk up in here?
No.
No, yeah,
I just want to make sure.
Hello. Because we're trying to remember stuff.
right.
So we went through this thing of goofy name to remember. Not that it's a goofy name, but it's, has to do with Christ, probably Greek, I don't know.
We had Christianity.
Okay.
Cause yeah.
Okay, DJ, easy name to remember. Danny, pretty easy, because you can associate with somebody you know. Not so easy. Okay, you, pretty easy. Also, your haircut sort of could be like Marcus Aurelius, and you did have a beard. Right? Your picture on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, this man.
Yeah, you
Joe
look
Green got the
you
great
look
boss
like
going.
hey, you look like you, bro.
I just cut my beard.
Hey,
Okay?
I thought your uncle could.
It could be. Okay, so it's 2 o'clock. We're done. We have to finish at 2. So the takeaway for today, number 1, remember stuff. Number 2, why do companies hire people?
We forgot the second one.
That is the
To
second.
make money and to save money.
Right, exactly.